The Akatsuki is an organization of S-rank criminals who function together as a unit. They have coordination, they have partners, they have, in general, teamwork. But against them today, the JoJo villains, they are a bunch of individualistic antagonists with essentially just abilities that warp reality, time, space, causality, everything of the sort. Now the question here is what happens when you have a pretty decent team of ninjas that are working together, they're well oiled, everything, against a group of essentially reality breaking individuals who just don't work together at all. I think the rules are standard. Everyone's gonna have their equipment and abilities. They fight in character, no prep time. Both sides know that the other exists, but they have no intel on their abilities. Starting this off, we have Nagato as Pain. Now, Nagato controls 6 bodies through the Rinnegan. They all share vision. He's his own combo route. He's 6 people. You already know that meme. Now, his combat is through the Deva Path, which he uses Almighty Push and Almighty Pull, which is like Shinra Tensei and Bansho Tenin to do all of his moves. They're basically like gravity. These are his go-to moves. He can repel anything around him, or he can yank his enemies towards him. The cooldown on it, 5 seconds. Will it matter? Kind of depends. Beyond that, we have the Animal Path that summons creatures. We have the Preta Path. It's absorbing chakra moves, so we're pretty much fine in that regard. But the Ashura Path has mechanical weapons, and the Human Path reads minds and extracts souls on contact. On contact. Lastly, we have the Naraka Path, which revives the fallen pains through the King of Hell. It's a lot of stuff. His ultimate ability, if he can get this off, is Chabaku Tensei. He creates this gravity core and pulls everything in the area into a giant sphere. He can seal most things in it. What I would say matters the most in this fight, I think the Human Path with the soul extraction, that's like an insta-kill. That matters a lot. Chabaku Tensei, that matters a lot. The Naraka Path destroying a body and that not being permanent. Just like it, I think they're doing a lot. There's no blind spots because it's 6 guys. It's one guy with 6 guys. It's crazy. Next up, we have Obito Uchiha. And since he's an Uchiha, you know, his specialty will be Sharingan stuff. He has Kamui. This makes himself tangible by either sending parts of his body or his whole body to the Kamui dimension, and attacks will pass through him. It'll look like, oh, hey, I'm here, but he transferred like his actual self away, temporarily speaking. It's sort of like conditional cream from Vanilla Ice. He can also warp other people, and then just in general himself, between these dimensions. It's Kamui dimension and regular place, and sometimes it could be other places too, whatever. His combat is mainly phasing through these attacks. I think it hasn't been something else for a while. He uses wood release from Hashirama cells, which is like, oh, okay, I'm a wood guy. They can be sharp wood, hardwood, whatever the heck. And his base Sharingan in general allows him to copy techniques, but this is for Naruto stuff specifically. Also, the big catch is that he can't be intangible forever. There's a 5-minute limit on continuous phasing, like using that for like the whole time, 5 minutes straight. But for the most part, he can use it like 99% of the times by turning on, turning off, turning on, turning off. And another issue is that while he wants to attack, he'll have to solidify to be able to do so. Now, what matters in this fight, I think mainly is the Kamui intangibility, as most attacks won't hit him, touch him at all, and can warp people away that, oh, I'm not trying to deal with this. It's sort of like Funny Valentine. Well, next we got Itachi Uchiha with his Mangankyo Sharingan. We have 3 signature abilities, I'm pretty sure. We have Tsukuyomi, and that traps the targets in a genjutsu dimension where he controls time, space, and perception. It's like he has control of Inception, the movie. 1 second in reality can feel like 72 hours of torture. It can even go to months. He can make you age so fast mentally and die naturally, all that. Amaterasu creates black flames that cannot be extinguished by any normal means. Itachi has to be the one to turn it off. He also has a Susanoo. That is like an energy warrior. It's like a giant stand almost. And he has that for defense and offense. Now, his Susanoo itself has 2 weapons, important weapons. It has the Yata Mirror, which is a shield that reflects all the attacks in Naruto. And then you have the Totsuka Blade, which seals anything pierces in a genjutsu dimension permanently. About the Yatamir, it can change its typing to whatever the heck typing it has to be avoiding. It can make itself big, it can make itself small, but it's not omnidirectional. It has to be used as a shield. Same thing with a Totsuka blade. It's not just a sword that you commanded and then it seals stuff. It has to pierce for it to work. He also has his base Sharingan, genjutsu stuff, precognition, copying techniques, etc., etc. It's all great for Itachi because he's a genius and he has perfect analysis. We also have his weaknesses. He has a chronic terminal illness that limits his stamina. Every use of his Mangenkyo abilities drain him and they accelerate his blindness. I think extended fights in general will favor his opponents. What truly matters in this fight for Itachi, Tsukuyomi, it's instant mental destruction with eye contact. Totsuka blade seals everything. Yatamir is amazing. And these are 3 separate like instant win conditions, but they all require either eye contact or landing a hit. It's not something that can be used indefinitely. Next, we have Kisame Hoshigaki. He has some of the largest chakra reserves comparable to a tailed beast on his own. He has Samehada. It's a living weapon that shaves, not cutting or piercing and all that, but I think you can't do it if he hits you hard enough. He can fuse the Samehada to become this shark-human hybrid, which I'm surprised that he's not already, but let's get that out the way. It's not important. Primary combat, he has water-style stuff. He creates water, a whole bunch of water. He has water prison, water shark bomb jutsu. He does all types of water things. The thing that I would say makes Kisame the most not important, but just like a huge focus is his water dome, where he can create a giant sphere of water that takes up such an extremely large battlefield. He fills it like as much as like a small, not small ocean, it's like a lake. It's like a huge bubble worth of water and lake and all that. And he has perfect mobility in that water because he's a shark guy. Past that, I don't know. The JoJo characters don't really use chakra, so I think in general he's really cool, but I don't got anything else for him. Next we have Sasori, who is a puppet master. Now, okay, just a quick thing. Presidents in Naruto usually have to be like strong ass characters. Like they're Hokages, Raikages, Kazekage. They usually have to be strong ass people. So Sasori on his own controls the 3rd Kazekage puppet. And he's able to use iron sand abilities through like magnetic manipulation. He can create weapons, shields, projectiles, all of that. And he can also coat it in poison because he's really, really good with poison. He can create poisons that just kill you to death. It's strong. It's like his most important thing, surprisingly. We also have his 100 puppets. It's like Red's secret technique, 100 puppets, whatever. He has 100 puppets. Each one of them is an op that he's killed and turned into a puppet. They have all types of abilities, weapons, everything. They also all have poison. You can't get cut. You will die. That's just with a single scratch. If you for real get hit, you're dead. What matters in this fight? Bro, it's 100 puppets. It's 100 puppets and they all got poison. The poison kill you. You can't touch the poison. I think that's pretty straightforward. You can also like mess up Sasori's body, but if you're not hitting his weakness, specifically like in his heart, a lot of that won't matter because it's just like, oh, this is wood, bro. I can just, there's other wood out there. Next we have Kakuzu. Kakuzu is like a really strong zombie who has the hearts of the benders from Avatar. And he just has 5 in total. And it's just like, okay, if I lose my fire heart, I'll go find another one, you know? Or just like, hey, like I'm just trying to stack it up. Like he loves variety. And if he loses one, he can get another by killing a person and taking their heart. That's basically it. He's also lived a long time. Like he's a zombie kind of guy. He's lived a long time. He has a lot of battle prowess. He survived fighting the first Hokage, which is like a top 5 character in Naruto to Naruto Shippuden. I think that's about it. I'm not gonna lie. That seems like a pretty straightforward explanation of what Kakuzu does. Deidara has explosive clay. He molds them into all types of things. It's like small clay, big clay, bigger clay, biggest clay. But then there's also intensities. Oh, maybe the small clay can be really strong and yada, yada, yada. It's all chakra. The range of stuff is C1, small precision bombs and animal shaped ones. C2, giant dragon, throws other bombs. C3, huge, levels out the entire village. It's over. C4 is microscopic bombs that, you know, if the target does have them in its body, like, oh, I've inhaled it, they detonate at a cellular level. C0, though, that's a suicide technique. And he has to turn himself into a bomb with like 10-kilometer range. He flies on his clay birds and dragon and all that. He has consistent aerial advantage. He has scouting claim because they can kind of act on their own in a way. It works. And what matters in the fight, I think mainly it's that he can just fly and just keep himself away from things. I think that's like very advantageous for the Akatsuki against these JoJo characters. Konan transforms her body into paper. She can become all types of paper weapons, has paper clones, flies with paper wings, paper shuriken, can just suffocate you with so much paper. I don't want to talk about her prep. She had this moment where she had hella prep and she almost smoked Obito, and I'm giving her full credit on that because she was strong as heck for that. It did take a bit though. What matters in the fight, without prep time, I don't know, just throwing paper stuff, flies, reconnaissance. She doesn't really have insta-kill options, but I think that she's in general an extremely smart character. Lastly, we have Hidan. This guy, I don't know, man. He can't die from regular stuff. Nothing really kills him. He feels the pain, but he just survives regardless. He has a blood ritual. He has to draw your blood, ingest it, then draw a circle, and he's like, oh, I'm a voodoo doll. That's if he can get blood, to be fair. And I just don't think Hidan is really that much of a factor. I don't think he's getting the opportunity for it. If someone else is doing it, then it can get to him. And I think the Akatsuki do have pretty good teamwork, but for the most part, I think they're not going to prioritize Hidan. They didn't prioritize him even in the show. So, I don't know. Zetsu, I'm just throwing Zetsu out the window. This guy's an up. All right. I think we covered pretty much everything. So, in a head-to-head, speed versus speed, the JoJo characters have stuff like, okay, light speed reaction, yada, 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 right? Light speed, combat speed. Great, but the Akatsuki members, say there's a whole bunch of relative stuff. Say that the JoJo characters do outspeed them and everything. They are fast on land in general, though. They have fast, like, travel speed. So I think that they have enough to, like, keep away from them and play the long range game in general. And they also have the artillery for it. So in the speed category, yeah, true. Maybe stuff is different when they're hella close, but maybe they don't really have to be that close. For durability, you can't hit the stands. That's just a note for all parties involved. The JoJo characters, they don't have a chakra system that isn't related to that. So I think that's out the window too. But after all this, after all the general stuff, now we focus on how does this work against the characters specifically. So the first person who I think probably suffers the most is Dio from Phantom Blood, as he has vampire generation. He has extremely fast combat speed, Space Ripper stingy eyes, flash freeze, and I think that's it. I think we're done, actually. As he is not someone who is a stand user and he doesn't have like the cool stuff that Cars does, he's probably the weakest in general. There's no time stop. He's not necessarily weak to fire, but he's weak to Hamon. But fire in general, like, I think at any attack potency that the Akatsuki are capable of, for the most part, will most likely be able to do the job. But yeah, he also has no stops against genjutsu or soul extraction or sealing. If I have to pinpoint who in specific he's beating, he's definitely beating Hidan. After that, I think it does largely depend on how exactly is he going about it, because someone who's considered as a jobber like Kakuzu is an extremely strong ninja. You know, like I think that gets like misconstrued in the power scaling world because Kakuzu isn't a top 5 character, but he is capable of a lot. And I think lasting in general throughout the fight is something that he would be able to do against this version of Dio. I think that, you know, he's going to lose against Tsukiyomi. Amaterasu loses to the pain because there's 6 of them and they can definitely do the job. Obito, etc., etc., etc. So Dio Brando on his own? No, probably nothing. Now for Yoshikage Kira, he has durability negation. because anything he touches becomes a bomb. He has faster than light stand speed. He has sheer heart attack, which is indestructible, heat-seeking bomb. He could have bites to dust. I usually don't give him bites to dust because it is such a specific ability for it to get off, but I think it can work when he's working with someone like Funny Valentine. Putting that to the side, his main problems are his own durability. He can't fly. He has limited range, as his stand is a close combat stand. Well, if we consider sheer heart attack, that's different. But for the most part, yeah, it's kind of messed up. And he should, as an individual, lose to most of the people, like, losing to Deidara because Deidara can just stay in the sky and drop bombs on him perfectly fine. You have someone like Sasori, where, heck, Killer Queen can probably blow up a whole bunch of the puppets and stuff, but there is no heat. And for the most part, Iron Sand style like that could just drop a huge block on him, and he wouldn't really be able to do much about it. Like, getting away from it is one thing, but like, I don't know, it's just so much to take on at once. But I think someone like Kakuzu, he could actually get it over him just off the weight of Kakuzu not expecting something, right? Because sheer heart attack, blow him up perfectly fine. I think beating out Hidan, perfectly fine. And neither of them can really block anything. Like, the durability is negated. And I think it does depend against Konan, because Konan has the advantage in the sky. But if there was ever a time that people do get close to Kira Yoshikage, then yeah, I would say it's a lot different. Next in the fight, we have Diavolo, who has King Crimson and his Epitaph. So he has 10 seconds of precognition, and he can time skip to erase the cause and never get to the effect, and he's intangible throughout this. He's extremely fast, he's extremely strong, he's still a human, still not as durable as the Naruto characters. He isn't able to attack during the time skip, just like how Obito has it with Kamui. But I would say that he's more inclined to have something against the other characters compared to someone like Kira and Dio Brando, because say that they're at like a normal range, I think Diavolo has the ability to just skip, and put himself in the best possible situation. The issue is, matchup wise, who is he going against, right? So I think he'll lose to Deidara because flight, loses to Kisame because if Kisame knows that, like, oh man, the guy, he hit me and like it was actually pretty like strong, because this is what the idea, like, let's say that their physical strength and stuff is relative, but it's not exactly, not at all, no, because Naruto characters do get crazy strong in terms of attack potency. But you know, like, just setting the scene, Kisame's like, oh, okay, no, I'm gonna bubble the whole area. What are you gonna be able to do about that? Probably nothing, you know. He can drown like any other human. We also have Itachi. Itachi is, they both have precognition in a sense. King Crimson's is better, but it's Itachi, you know, and a glimpse of his eyes sets it off immediately, and it would mess it up. But I do think he could predict that. The issue is like, okay, so I know he's going to use his eyes, but like, what's the move after that? Like, can I hit him? And yeah, maybe in the time skip, he'd be able to get close enough to hit him, but on the fly reaction stuff, I'm not sure. I think that, let's say that Itachi isn't that fast, like Itachi's not light speed or anything like that, then I think King Crimson could get him exactly in that moment. But there's something about Naruto characters that's like, oh yeah, this turns out this was a substitution, but that is a lot reactions. Like a lot of things are reaction based, and sometimes something is done preemptively, like, okay, this is Itachi, but it actually wasn't Itachi off top. It was a clone, and you would have to use your precognition for that. And I think it's a decent fight. I think it's a decent fight as is. Let's obviously people are like, oh my gosh, but it's Itachi. He has a huge freaking sword. You can cut right through it. Of course. But the setup towards it, pretty interesting, I'd say. Now, Dio Brando, the world version, which is just Dio, this guy would work really well as an anchor to the team. Because this is like, I'm talking about this stuff individually speaking, but if they're going about this group by group, even if, you know, like, say this Dio isn't like our Dio, let's say Funny Valentine got like a more willing to work with the team Dio, this guy can stop time. Just off of that is great. That's amazing. He can stop time. He has his vampire regeneration, and combined with, like, I don't know, people want to say that he has his phantom blood stuff. That's neither here nor there. But I want to say a lot of his matchups would be based entirely on timing. Plus, the duo work, something like Dio and Kira Yoshikage, can instantly turn Kira Yoshikage from someone who's a nobody in this fight into someone who's an immediate somebody because he is able to negate durability. Because say that Dio wasn't able to do so, and it's just like, oh, okay, I can't. He has the facilities to stop time and put Yoshikage in an advantage position where he'll be able to like just wipe someone off the face of the map because he has Killer Queen. That's great. I think someone like Dio can open up so much of what the JoJo villains in general are capable of because he has time stop. I think that something again, like for example, fighting against Itachi, he could just show up, punch a hole right through him, and then go on about his day, you know? And then Itachi would have already been hit. And say that he's not able to, he could put anybody else in a better position than him. He also can outlast a lot of people's chakra reserves and stuff because like this is Dio who can essentially fly. He doesn't fly, he's gliding because he's kicking off of the ground and stuff. As long as he's able to just keep on stopping time and just getting away from certain positions and stuff, it's great and all. Here's what I would say, that he probably could easily lose the fight just off of not knowing that people can kind of sense him. Like I know that not everyone, no one on the Akatsuki has the Byakugan, but Naruto characters for the most part can kind of sense each other based off of energy to an extent, you know, like that's something that's like thought of with certain characters and their caliber and power and all that and yada yada yada. Sometimes people just have aura and that is detectable and all that. But I don't know. They can kind of sense each other. So I don't think that Dio can get away like in the regard of like, oh, I stopped time. I'm so like, where am I? Yada yada yada, stuff like that. No, it's not like that. But he can just continuously set himself up for better things rather than trying to snake his way throughout the fight. But yeah, I think he's one of the best stand users we have in general. He'd be able to do things like get to Deidara, you know, like let's say he can't fly all the way to Deidara, but like certain things wouldn't be able to happen just because he can nip the battle in the bud pretty fast. Alongside Kakuzu's thing, it's all like, oh, you know, as Kakuzu goes on, maybe he can learn more things about Dio. Or Dio can just make this things easier. It's just all like, okay, try to punch a hole through the guy's heart. That didn't work. We're going to keep on trying to go about this because I'm not running out of energy. I'm just keep on doing it. This guy, he could probably figure me out, but I'm going to keep on getting away from him. Like, it's just, it opens more up for him. I think against Kisame, because we're already throwing like the attack potency stuff out the window because like I know in general how that talk just becomes fairly annoying for most people. But let's just say that, yeah, Kisame and Dio, let's say for the sake of the scenario, you know, like they're comparable. I think that if they are comparable and one has the ability to stop time, he can pretty much negate what most things like Kisame has. And even if Kisame was to go about, oh, hey, let me try to do the water dome thing, he can pretty much get like, he just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just fly away. I'm like, oh, it's showing up on me, stop time, gets further away, stop time, gets further away. And he wouldn't be able to get to it. You know, so I think it's pretty advantageous for Dio against most of them. Now we up to Ultimate Cars, and I'm going off of who has like the best matchup, worst matchup to best matchup. We have Ultimate Cars. Cars has perfect adaptation to all like physical, natural, biological threats. Cellular level regeneration. He is extremely fast, just like a stand user. 400 IQ, has all of the abilities of every animal, every insect, everything, you know? And this is for if you came in and you're a Naruto person only. So Cars, he essentially was able to multiply whoever the best was in terms of power. Like, so Joseph Joestar was the best Hamon user that we had, right? He was able to modify himself, biologically speaking, to set up whatever the way he needs to. And his Hamon, just off top, like his first try at it, he was hundreds of times better than the best Hamon user. And he can also melt people like cellularly just because he's a pillar man. So if it is natural, it's something he can do. You know, he can adapt to it and he smokes out. He's great on this. His weaknesses, I don't think he can do anything towards soul manipulation because souls aren't biological and that can definitely be sealed. I think dimensional removal. Like if he was gonna be like, oh, I got Kamui away, oh no, you know, he disappears, he's gone. But there are certain things that he does that makes him such a contender, you know, like if Itachi was to be like, oh, Amaterasu, it's on your face, and you're be like, oh my gosh, I'm burning. He can legit just dead whatever part that got like hit with Amaterasu. Like he could cut off his own head and regenerate his head. Anything that gets hit with Amaterasu, it can just be regenerated anyways. Against Obito, yeah, for sure. Obito can Kamui him away, but can Obito get rid of cars past Kamui? Like, we have no reason to believe that, okay, damage-wise, like, again, this idea, like, oh, hey, we're comparable, everybody's comparable. Damage-wise, like, hey, look, he's going to regenerate off of that. You don't have anything to truly get rid of him, and he is addicted to regen. He's like Cell. So it's like, oh, could Obito beat Cell in this specific regard? It's like, man, even with Kamui, this seems like a pretty difficult fight. I think for everybody else, very much possible on beating. You know, beating Deidara, easy. Like that's very possible. Beating Kakuzu, yes. Beating Kisame, yes. Beating Sasori, like he's one of the only people that if they do get poisoned, I'ma chill. Like this ain't nothing to me. Like, oh, you just poisoned this part of the body, I'm already done. Like I'm already moved on to the next thing. You can't. I'm gonna regenerate everything because every sort of poison you got, it's not enough. I'm cars, so that's great. Next, we have our third man. This is Enrico Pucci, big dog. Enrico Pucci is so fast. Like he could run over to you, take your, like it's not, he has stand discs, but they're not just stand discs. He could take all your memory function. It's gone. I've run away again. That's probably one of the most broken things that's on here. And how many people he'd be able to just get past them just off of speed. Itachi and Pucci are not linking up eyesight wise. They're not. We also have Obito. I think truly Obito could react to most things. I just don't think that he's going to be able to Kamui. He's not going to be able to Kamui Enrico Pucci because I'm just like, look, man, this is like better Minato speed. And like it might have been close when you was young and Minato was like, oh, okay, dang, I didn't know how this guy gets down. But this is the fastest guy. If it was like Sea Moon, I think it's different, you know, because it's just like, yeah, he still has to make contact to make people just like, oh, I'm turning inside out. Like he would have to make contact for that. And the distance thing could definitely beat him out. Like, because a lot of stuff gravity wise would be flipping around and everything, but certain things would still just be easier. Like Deidara goes from not being able to mess with Pucci because of Made in Heaven to being able to very much being able to mess with him because like, hey, look, like you're still on the ground and I'm up here. Same thing goes with like Itachi, Obito, everybody. They're just like, oh, hold on, wait, whoa, you're not that fast. Let's chill. You're not getting to me. Plus, I can summon a Susanoo relatively decently, you know? I think everybody else can do pretty well when it's like Sea Moon and White Snake. But, you know, I'm giving everybody everything that they have. So I think that Made in Heaven is the one to put a nail in the coffin for a lot of the characters we have here. Now, this is where we're at to the point where, hey, look, a lot of people had like, you know, like, okay, this works for them, this works, all that stupid stuff, right? This is where the gap is like fully widened, all right? We have funny Valentine. Imagine Kamui, Izanagi, and Shadow Clone Jutsu, except the clones are real, right? So how Funny Valentine and Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap works is that Valentine's able to move between parallel universes, and all he has to do is be between something, you know, just be between something. This allows him to escape like all the time. He has a lethal touch because if he brings an alternative version of you from another dimension, as soon as you come into contact with that version of you, both versions would annihilate each other. They just explode, gone. And he is the only person that can exist with his alternatives. He essentially has infinite backup and an infinite amount of like intelligence gathering because it's like, oh shoot, I don't know anything about Itachi Uchiha. I'll be right back. And then you just come back. Hey, look, I have this guy. His name is Sasuke Uchiha. So this is great. Like, and it can work. But put that to the side. Valentine has a form of D4C where it's a D4C love train, and love train redirects all misfortune. He still has the dimensional travel and everything like that. He just has this additional, oh, hey, I can redirect misfortune. That is so unfortunate because I think it basically should beat out pretty much everybody besides Obito 1-to-1. Like not immediately because Obito could be like, whoa, he's redirecting that misfortune. I got to get out of here. And he can calm me away. That's fine. But everything else should redirect. Shinra Tensei would redirect. Chibaku Tensei redirect. Imagine Amaterasu redirecting. Imagine the C4 bombs, all of that stuff that Deidara got. Imagine that redirecting and going all towards the Akatsuki members. That is hilarious. And that's Love Train. This is one guy. Honestly, a lot of the time you can have like just funny Valentine versus a whole lot of people, and it's the same thing. Like, he's extremely broken, but that was just him. And lastly, we have the new champion of it all, Wonder of You. I can't believe Toru got this far. But yeah, so Toru, the stand user, has a stand, Wonder of You. And this is an automatic calamity that will trigger against anyone pursuing him or attacking him. This ability works on intent, not exactly action, and it escalates when you pursue him even more. It also can't be turned off. So the Wonder of You controls the logic of the world itself. That's the thing. So in general, in the world, stuff is going to happen. Bad stuff is going to happen. Calamities happen. But what Wonder of You does is essentially like manipulating all of that, fate, luck, all of that, to work against anyone pursuing him. This has a whole bunch of calamity energy in general, but alongside that, this guy has like karmic retribution, which essentially means like, hey, look, it might not even be the pursuit thing. You might have just like sort of pursued me in a way, like you saw a picture of me and all that, but you have done so much bad in your life that Wonder of You is going to activate and get on you immediately. That's concerning. Like that's just wild itself. And it's essentially also power nullification because it can manipulate how you use your own stuff. Like it manipulated Josuke, who had been fighting him, and sometimes stuff that like, oh hey look, I used my Amaterasu. Wait a minute, my Amaterasu's on me. How did that happen? And the only answer is, yeah, that was Wonder of You. So here's my thing. Kamui should be able to get away from Toru like temporarily, but as soon as it happens, or even say like, let's say he accidentally Kamui's himself into like the wrong thing, it works sort of like that. Because there is a logical, not premonition, but a logical point of Kamui that can easily be manipulated due to Wonder of You and how it functions, which is extremely concerning because it's like, oh wow, this is a busted character. What exactly are you supposed to do with this? And it was difficult for JoJo to happen with that too. They had to hit him with an attack that didn't exactly exist. And we don't have that here. Now, with all things considered, what does a battle look like when it's happening all at once? So the Akatsuki, they do have their own coordination, and Kisame and Itachi work together. They do their stuff. They have their own like supers in the games. I have Pain, Konan, Kakuzu, Hidan, Sasori, and Deidara. They can work really, really well in combination. And the JoJo villains aren't team players, and they're extremely individualistic, but at the same time, you have Valentine here, and you also have Toru here. So Toru is just in general a great defense, and Valentine is the one that can be like, hey, look, our part 3 Dio isn't really listening to me, so I'm going to bring another part 3 Dio. Hey, yo, you two cannot talk to each other. Don't touch each other because you will explode and die. That's an issue. But if you don't do that, we can beat these guys over there. And that is on the table. And it's not coordination, but it's spacing, it's intention, and its capabilities mainly. And I think that truly in a head-to-head, as is in terms of like, let's say that both Kishimoto and Araki are writing it, I think truthfully, they would just make the Akatsuki like sort of win, but it would be all like, oh, but we got someone like Toru or Valentine or something like that, just blew them all up and they would do it in a huge draw. But I think genuinely in terms of writing past like the idea of like, oh, a really optimistic version of Valentine can get this stuff to play out and go about his stuff. It's like that can totally work in terms of practicality. Have we had stuff that work like that in general? Eyes of Heaven isn't canon. So nah, but I do think they have all of the cards to say that it should work. I think textbook wise, the Akatsuki should win. Not every time. They should win a lot. But when it comes down to how hacks the JoJo abilities are, the gap is just too large to imagine, I think. Because Funny Valentine can have Deidara, can have a Deidara, Sasori can have a Sasori, Obito can have an Obito. Everybody can have a version of themselves, and that is broken. Would he do that? He kind of did do that. So it's like, oh shoot, okay, so this is like, it kind of depends on how we're going about this. How are we gonna, like, they would have to build up a knowledge of Valentine to figure out truly what the heck is going on. Like, what's that guy doing over there? But I think by the time they figure that out, and they've been pursuing in general alongside like Toru being in the picture, they kind of already lost. That's how I think it works. I do think that they have better coordination in general. And I think if it was like a group thing where it's just all like duos take out duos, there are going to be some duos that run right through, you know? I don't think that Part 1 Dio and Yoshikage Kira is a good duo. I think Kira with Part 3 is good. I think Cars with like Pucci is amazing, you know? But a lot of the time, like some people just aren't contenders. Like we already spoke about like the first like 4 essentially being not as good, nowhere near as like the top 2, but especially not like the top 4. I think truly if someone was to think about what I've said and even introduce their own scaling and stuff, they'll probably come to the conclusion like, hey man, like wonder if you and Funny Valentine are doing so much carrying, and let's say like Pucci also, like, oh, these guys are carrying so much. You're saying like the top 3 guys, they beat us out like for the most part, and so, there's a lot of people that get smoked out by Deidara. Hey, true, you know, to me Deidara is strong as hell. I love Deidara, you know, and Sasori. I love Naruto in general. I love the franchise. It was my thing before JoJo. But you know, even if it is like, damn, those guys were carrying, I'm like, hey, look, the job gets done though, and that's truly what matters. Like, is the job finished? Yes or no? So yeah, individually, I think that if we put this to like a record, you're gonna see like we're gonna show like very clear patterns of, man, Kira, Dio, and Diavolo, they have strong things going for them, but are they like a cohesive type of people compared to how the Naruto characters are like so damn well rounded? It's like, nah, but those guys are ninjas, bro. Like Diavolo didn't have to worry about fighting the whole ninja world. He was fighting like our world. And like a group led with like a 15-year-old and a 19-year-old, like, bro, this is some weak ass shit. But as long as the team clutches it out, really, like, what else matters, man? Dude, like, we could have Diavolo as like reconnaissance. Like he could just be an intel guy. Be like, oh yeah, I saw that in the future, bro. It's over. Don't get hit with this. He's about to do this. And they'll be like, oh damn, Diavolo. You know, I know that you were replaced with Funny Valentine's version of Diavolo, but I like you way more because you're way more social and you still have the same stand, which is broken. The idea that like, oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of universes that can eventually just help out Valentine and be like, oh man, he picked the right thing. He could literally go switch out the matchup and be like, yo, I don't like this version of the Akatsuki. You go beat a different one and then come back to this one being like, I learned some new stuff and I brought an Akatsuki with me. What? What does that mean? It means that Valentine's broken. It means that Toru's broken. It means that Rico Pucci, pretty freaking broken, I would say. I think the Akatsuki worked great if that they were getting the JoJo villains individually, but then that wouldn't be the group fight like we're talking about. I think that Soul Extraction works on everybody, right? The issue is, could you get to that point where you do it? Not everybody. No, not everybody. Could you hit people with Tsukuyomi? For sure. Will it work on everybody? I don't think it'll work on everybody. That counts as intent. And it's missed. And look, it's a pursuit and it's a misfortune. You know, no one wants to get hit with Tsukuyomi, parentheses, negative. So it probably wouldn't work. But yeah, I would say so. I think that JoJo's power ceiling is just higher. And I think reality warping beats out stuff like chakra techniques. The Akatsuki's teamwork is better for sure, and coordination will beat individualness, like all individual powers and stuff. But if an individual's power is better than teamwork, then what are you supposed to do when there's like more than one of them? I think that's fair. But yeah, this is just me on this video. If any Naruto creators of like comparable size or something like that, I don't freaking know. Maybe you just know power scaling and stuff like that, and you're another creator like that, then yeah, maybe we can link on some shit. You know, I already do so with metas, but I'm looking to see if like other franchises and stuff want to talk about JoJo and shit like that. That'd be great. I'd really have fun. It's more so about figuring it out together. I don't really care to do like my franchise beats your franchise, because I'm not Araki and I'm not getting paid to be JoJo, you know, like that's not my thing. I just want to figure it out together. Also, I do plan on talking about Baki because I've been catching it up on that, and oh my god, crazy. But yeah, that's something else to get into later. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. I'm not sick anymore. Hopefully I don't get sick again. Love y'all. Thank you so much for the support. Hopefully I see you on the next one. Until then, peace out and Godspeed.